After the beach episode OVA last week, it's nice to see the plot advances again in this episode when the love child of Pizza the Hut and the Swamp Thing decided to attack Port Royale.
I will shoot first.
Yeah, about that. There are times when shooting first is a good idea, and Han Solo learned that firsthand when he was young. And according to canon, as Han Solo matured, he learned to shoot at the same time but with a slower laser. A lesson that budget Davy Jones here could learn a thing or two from. Seaweed guy here didn't even bother to ask a question. Gorian Shard escaped from the Muppets Treasure Island for this. And on top of that, this pirate's motivation is just to spend his armaments blowing up this stupid town in the galaxy's edge of nowhere. He didn't even bother to take hostages. I guess his mother never told him that.
Son, if one hostage is good, two are better. And three, well, that's just good business.
So what's the profit in this? That's not very pirate-like attitude.
That is without doubt the worst pirate I have ever seen.
Not profitable!
In this video, we will look into how X-Wing pilots have changed in the New Republic, some Mandalorian traditions, space piracy, and bust some common misconception about Mandalorians, including how getting the dark saber from Din Djarin won't make Bo-Katan the rightful ruler of Mandalore. So make sure you watch this video to the end. And in a weird break in Star Wars tradition, somehow these X-Wing pilots needed permission to go somewhere now. Don't they just always go anywhere as they please? I mean, there's a whole bunch of them hanging around doing nothing here. Even Mr. Beast got the time to show up. I wonder what Zeb is up to now that he's in the Republic. Is this a hint that we're going to get a full Rebels reunion in the Ahsoka series? Yes, even the budget Kenobi guy. What's his face? Anyway, all this New Republic bureaucracy showed how the old Empire bureaucracy has now been replaced by New Republic bureaucracy, which is perfect for the New Order to rise from the unknown region. For the dark side of the Force clouds everything. Well, it's either that or Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, and Dave Filoni need to get their collective asses out of that bar and get to work. When Appa showed up at the New Republic Bureau of Bureaucracy, that Imperial chicks quickly perked up. Amnesty Officer G69
69
is being set up to lead up to something, and it had better pay off. It seems like she's part of a conspiracy with Gideon. What she contributed here in this episode undermined the Republic's political influence on the Outer Rim. You know, where Palpatine is spawning granddaughters.
I'm just right. Nobody.
It also caused friction between Republicans.
Don't talk to me that way.
As she gathered intel on Nevarro. That means she's in the perfect position to spy on everything the Republic does. And so, with his proposal rejected by the New Republic, Captain Teva shoved his giant balls into the cockpit of that X-Wing. And even though
one does not simply walk
into the Mandalorian coffin, and Captain Teva simply walked up to the Mandalorian coffin that he found thanks to that stupid droid spy.
Thanks, R5.
Din Djarin kind of forgot his main axiom.
No droids. Never trust a droid.
It just showed how much his character has grown since we started all of this.
I know you'll relocate anyway.
And Teva got the chops to bust his balls. At the start, it was weird to watch Tin Man carrying the hammer. Well, it turns out Mandalorians use talking stick and take turns when they talk, which makes the Armorer's hammer a really cool multitasking tool. It hammers, it bashes, and it's a ceremonial item that functions as a talking stick. With that kind of tool, who needs blasters anymore? And Paz Vizsla, being his usual dick, questioned Din Djarin's request for help.
The question we should be asking ourselves is why? Why should we lay our lives down yet again? Because we are Mandalorians!
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
That head fake was the coolest thing Paz has ever done so far, to clear out all doubts among the Mandalorians and best guard their resolve.
This is the way.
And when this episode delivered, boy did it deliver. Just that one shot of the ship coming out of hyperspace, it'll always make my day.
Prepare to drop.
And so the Mandalorians spent 13 hours in Benghazi. And somehow they got boxed in.
We're boxed in.
Even though they got jetpacks and could fly away at any time they want. Oh, I know some people will be like, if they fly, they're just gonna get shut down. Tell that to Red Team Pharmacy. Did anyone forget that they flew around and wiped out Greef Karga's goons only a few cycles ago? And they certainly have enough plot armor to win this battle too. So anyway, with their DPS outstretched, their tank luckily still has one functioning brain cell. Paz Vizsla jumped in and made space. Caveat being, just like the other ones, he didn't have any extra brain cells to spare. So instead of raining hellfire from the sky, he landed in the middle of a crossfire and activated his plot armor. Someone really need to talk to these people about using tactical jetpacks. Preferably this random guy who decided to go surfing on a snout fighter in the middle of a battle. And here's another thing that I haven't seen mentioned anywhere. The Ognaut, one of Gorian Shard's goons, is wearing a red beanie and dressed in white and blue shirt. which is exactly the same color and theme of one of Captain Hook's goon from Peter Pan, who wore the same color beanie and shirt. This is Mr. Shmi. No doubt is the origin of the name Shmi Skywalker, mother of the infamous Jedi Anakin Skywalker, which means this random pirate is the father of Anakin.
That's not how the Six works.
He was trained by Obi-Wan to become the most successful child murderer in the galaxy.
It's all Obi-Wan's fault.
Luckily, the armorer had a lot more functioning brain cells than her Mandalorian goons by figuring out that every single person on that deck was completely deaf. This allowed the armorer to do what Qui-Gon has long taught Batman, which is to
Simply walk up behind them.
and beat the crap out of him with the hammer. I mean, this guy fired a blaster and that hammer made a loud thudding sound. Nobody heard any of this, and as the final coda, Gorn was nice enough to turn around so that the armorer could hammer him in the face. Oh, be honest now. Which one of you wouldn't want to get hammered with the armorer? 10 out of 10 would get hammered. And finally, the Mandalorians won.
Thank you to our fine Mandalorian liberators, to whom this planet is forever indebted.
Which is actually just a small town the size of Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. And not only that, looks like these are the entire citizens of Nevarro. All 65 of them. That's right, I counted. And the Mandalorian was bequeathed the
Bullock Canyon.
name as an homage to the OG Mandalorian Jerry Bullock, who played Boba Fett in the first trilogy, which means they should have also given a shout out to Jason Wingreen, the original voice of Boba Fett,
As you wish.
before they dubbed it in the new voice.
As you wish.
Also shout out to Don Franks, the OG Boba Fett from the holiday special.
I am Boba Fett.
This is a reminder that the Mandalorian features one of the greatest shots in Star Wars. Just this one random Mandalorian who decided to go surfing on a snub fighter in the middle of a battle. I mean, that was just one random shot with zero context out of nowhere at the end of the fight. And by the end of the fight, I mean after all the fight was done. But you know that one shot was too cool to not be included. Anyway, so, as Greef Karga announced that
You do now have a home. Welcome.
5 minutes later.
the armorer was like,
It is time to retake Mandalore.
which shows just how much this new home is worth to these Mandalorians.
Which isn't a lot, but it's 2 nickels.
They didn't even bother to go and have a look at what it looks like.
Huge tracts of land.
And they're going to need a lot of troops to retake Mandalore. There's some Imperial warlords whipping around, and not to mention a bunch of space cavemen to wipe out. And so the armorer called Bo-Katan to her bedroom and told her to.
Remove your helmet.
And Normie's reaction would have been like, oh shit, she knows. And when Bo-Katan takes off her helmet, the armorer was like,
Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
I can't believe you felt this loss. The book. What's with you, man? Come on.
This is the way.
well, actually, what I'm really pissed off about is that I thought the armorer would have taken her helmet off too. And then they would kiss and have babies. Because that's how they make babies, right? Right?
That's not how the Six works.
Oh, really?
But seriously, how the heck did Bo-Katan get her hair to look like she just left the salon? I mean, how long has she been wearing that thing now? Probably since the last time the Mandalorians ate, but I don't think the Mandalorians even had breakfast yet, because you figure wiping out these pirates would take like, what, 5 minutes max?
It's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
I mean, it's just a Mandalorian thing to do their chores and take out the trash before breakfast, you know. But seriously, I suspect the blinking headband is like a space portable salon device of some kind. I mean, why else would she have kept it blinking inside her helmet the whole time?
It is time to retake Mandalore.
You're talking about raising an army.
She can reunite the most powerful houses in all of Mandalore.
And to unite all Mandalorians, Bo-Katan would need one thing, the Darksaber.
Take it.
She can't take it. It must be won in battle. In order for her to wield the Darksaber again, she would need to defeat you in combat.
I yield. It's yours.
Oh, no. It doesn't work that way. The Darksaber doesn't have power. The story does. Without that blade, she's a pretender to the throne.
He's right.
Come on, just take it.
But herein lies the rub. Notice that Bo-Katan didn't just beat the crap out of Din Djarin then and there.
Why don't you kill him now and take it?
Or ever. Even when they were both alone in her castle and she desperately needed that saber, she still didn't beat the crap out of Din Djarin. This is because she knew that Din Djarin didn't have the right of claim to that Darksaber. That's because neither did Moff Gideon. Because regardless of how Gideon managed to get the Darksaber itself, the line for the claim of ownership was broken when Sabine handed over the Darksaber to Bo-Katan.
Oh, no. It doesn't work that way.
She never won it in battle in the first place, for Sabine herself actually never had the right of claim. See, she only found the Darksaber lying on the ground. The Darksaber itself belonged to the Night Sisters at the time, who possessed Sabine's body to fight Ezra Bridger, and it was Ezra who defeated the Night Sister and thus unwittingly laid claim to the Darksaber when he disarmed the Night Sister and took the Darksaber for himself.
I hope it was worth it.
And wield it truly, which means Bo-Katan will need to find that space whale and beat the crap out of Bridger. And incidentally, Grogu had an encounter with the space whales on episode 17, which I'm sure is just a coincidence and had nothing to do with foreshadowing as future presidents. But if you thought that Ezra is the current rightful owner of the Darksaber, you'd be wrong, since before Maul kept the Darksaber at Dathomir for the Night Sisters, he took the Darksaber from Paz Vizsla, which is supposed to have the right of claim to the Darksaber, meaning Maul should have been the rightful owner before it was passed on to the Night Sisters.
Only the strongest shall rule.
However, when Paz Vizsla used the Darksaber, he encountered General Kenobi, who proceeded to beat the crap out of him, resulting in the loss of the Darksaber, meaning Obi-Wan Kenobi is the actual rightful claimant of the Darksaber and therefore the legitimate ruler of Mandalore, and Bo-Katan needs to find and beat the crap out of Kenobi's ghost.
From a certain point of view.
The point of view of facts. Apparently, the New Republic only has one guy to patrol the whole goddamn galaxy. Captain Teva, who found Moff Gideon's Imperial shuttle attacked with the remains of Beskar embedded. Was this Beskar a plant? Or was it from the Imperial Super Commandos? Let me know in the comments. And now it's your turn to hit like and subscribe.
They fly now! They fly now! They fly now!